Thank you so much for joining me again today. Today is more of a meditation than a chat. I'd like to take you to a deep place that reminds us of where we have been and where we should actually return to. I came across a meme the other day by somebody called Jason Hickel, Hickel on Facebook. And he says the following: the concept of species loneliness has its right. Living in an economic system that regards non-human beings, plants, animals, ecosystems, as a mere stock of resources to be exploited, leaves us on some subconscious level deeply troubled by the trauma of our separation. These times require much deep thought about how we need to move forward to heal our separation and how we can be strong. We don't have to always reach into prehistory or our ancestors for this to be accessible. There are some teachers that are alive now that are accessing the collective consciousness in a beautiful manner and in a new manner. Deep ecology is a philosophy of nature which sees the underlying environmental crisis, that there is a psychological disease within us that is stemming from our illusion of separation between humans and the rest of the natural world. The late Arno Næss, Emeritus Professor of Philosophy of Oslo University, Norway, coined the term deep ecology. And he pointed out that ecological ideas are not enough to support our earth or protect it. We need the ecological identity, that ecological self, basically going back to where we were thousands of years ago when we were not separate. So we have to go back in the past to bring things into the present, plus find a new language for this. And I think deep ecology gives you that language. John Seed, for those of you who don't know, is a rainforest protector. But he had a catharsis one day. While standing in the forest, he said, instead of me protecting the forest, or I am protecting the forest, it develops into I am part of the rainforest protecting myself. I'm that part of the rainforest recently emerged into this kind of thinking of humans. What a relief. The thousands of years of perceived separation, that illusion is over, and we can begin to recall our true nature. That change is a spiritual one. So with that, I'd like you to take a few deep breaths. Ground and center yourself and close your eyes to listen. Come with me on a brief journey. Let me hold your hands in this virtual circle. We find ourselves standing in front of a forest, all gathered together, our hearts beating as one as we stand in this circle. We are connecting to one another, like the spokes in the back of a medicine wheel. Like the spokes in the back of a drum. Hearts connected, breathing as one. And we all turn to face the forest and file one behind the other and moving towards this beautiful forest, taking careful steps. In unity we move, and we file in a long row of footsteps, gently stepping on our mother, all of us breathing prayers, and the cold air making our silent words visible. We hear birdsong and enter the loamy smell of the standing nation. The leaves are composting, and the dampness is felt. And we move deeper and deeper into the darkness of their canopy. We walk for a long while, and up ahead we see a glimmer of a fire and smell smoke. And we come across a clearing, and there are many seats around this fire. And we slowly all sit down, reverently, and listen. There are faces that some of us know that will be speaking. Joanna Macy is holding hands with John Seed. They have tears running down their face as we have. They speak in unison, and we feel the truth bumps of this. I am the rainforest protecting myself. That part that has recently emerged into thinking. And we feel the separation dropping away and knowing our true nature. And another who is in the spirit world already, our Nones, looks around slowly and says, ecological ideas are not enough to protect this earth. We need ecological identity, the ecological self. A medicine person stands and seems to tower over us, and we feel the truth of this being. And they say in many tongues, welcome, welcome family. You all have finally woken up. They take up their drum and begin to play. As we listen, we are taken to another world, as if we have taken Los Niños Santos. We see the streams of energy emanating from one another. The fire, the trees, the other beings, and the drumbeat awakens in us the awareness of the sentiency of the plants. The indignation of them being manipulated, the food plants' codes destroyed, and flowers who give off fragrance and signals to say, we're ready, we are ready to be pollinated. We hear a voice that says, your ideas of deep ecology are standing on the shoulders of giants. You have merely forgotten your roots. Many, many years ago, back in deep time, we, your ancestors, lived close to our mother. We understood the nature of give and take. We understand and understood that, like the bees, we only take enough. There was a shaman who was asked to do ceremony when we harvested. More likely an animist. They crossed over between reality and non-ordinary reality with their deep seeing and sharing their signs and their knowledge and their deep wisdom of the natural world. They called upon the guides and the spirits to help community. Everything was done in unison and in practice. And that's not to say we weren't human and we didn't squabble and we didn't have our fights, and we didn't have our egos get in the way. But when important events like the harvesting of our food, the birth of a child, the death of a person, the coming of age of young men and women, marriages, hand fasting, unhand fasting, we did it in a ceremonious way. These were the really old ways when we, your ancestors, lived in small bands of people, and there was a sense of reciprocal oneness. And we did understand that we're not apart from the cycles of our planet, and that our lives were as precious as the elk or the eland who we took to feed our family, and that everything was used and nothing went to waste. We understand that in your time it's very different. But each of you can listen to your new teachers who live among you, who are accessing this collective consciousness in a new manner, using language and methods that you would understand better, as you are emerging out of that unnatural chrysalis of the industrial mind. As a medicine person, I am telling you not to forget the spirit world. It is there to assist you. Call upon your medicine people who can see things, do ceremony, and know what happens in non-ordinary reality shifts, changes into ordinary reality. Use these powerful tools to change and shift into a world where a community of reverence exists. The drum beats cease, and Elder stands, and John Seed calls on a prayer breathed from his lips. We call upon the spirit of Gaia. Awaken in us the true sense of who we really are. Tiny, transient blossoms on the tree of life. Make the purpose and destiny of that tree of life our own purpose and destiny. We open our eyes and see that each of us is a branch from this tree. Some of us medicine people, and others who have gifts of feeding the world, living closely to the planet, the energy healers, the doctors, the poets, the singers, and more. And you can see the threads of life between you and me, that we are all one. And each leaf of you are necessary and essential to change the state of our mother and the dignity of all our relations. We understand what the deep ecologists are saying, and that their words and teachings are the same as the medicine people, that all lives have intrinsic right to exist, and that we need to find that way in a dignified manner. The time is coming to an end when we leave this sacred space. We offer tobacco and other sacred offerings that are appropriate from our hearts to the elders in this holy space. And we bow deeply with reverence to one another and those who have been here to teach. And we file out again, once again, reverently out the forest towards the light. And we are moved not to forget. We become aware of our surroundings and give thanks to all who have been here. And so it is, and it is so. take these teachings today in your heart and find a place where you can begin to live in right relation with our planet. And if you're finding yourself in an existential crisis, direct message me. Leave me a message. Find me on rightrelation.org. That's right-relation.org. Or mail me at info@right-relation.org. I do remote sessions. I can help you with this existential crisis and all the other emotions you might be feeling in these strange new times. We are really all here walking one another home, in the words of the teacher Ram Dass. Blessings to each of you. I love you and thank you for listening.